What's going on? I believe we are live. Yep, I hear myself. So we should be good to go. Pretty much what I wanted to touch on was just basically the cover side of IBRX, just because I went over it so in depth yesterday. Was on the watch list the day before, so just felt like it was worthwhile to get kind of the bookend of the trade where we get the prep, we get the live executions, and then get the exit. So just wanted to hop on and go over that. So I am a couple minutes early, so there we go. So I'll just give it a couple minutes while people kind of filter in, and then we will get to it. I do have a few other things. Hey, sorry I missed yesterday. Was washing dishes. What kind of excuse is that? I was washing dishes. I I get it. We got an older crowd out there, but they you don't have to be hardwired into the wall to get Wi-Fi anymore. Just a little pro tip. All good, all good. But yeah, there is a few more things on watch list. Nothing that's super actionable. Like when I was, IBRX is the one. There isn't really like a this is the one, but there is some stuff setting up that I am excited for moving forward. But yeah, so I'll briefly touch here on IBRX. So if you weren't here yesterday, you can go back and look at the executions. But in a nutshell, I had started in added here, added here, stopped out through pre-market highs, re-entered right here, stopped out through highs, re-shorted here 740s, added here at 7, added some more here in like the 670s, 680s, and then added some right here at like 650 into close, and was swinging that one into today. Had about a 7 average going into today. So right around 7 a.m. here, I was at the desk, but this kind of action here is what got me in trouble over here when I was shorting into this little illiquid pre-market pop into red to green. So I didn't take it here, but what we did get was a sub 6 flush, and I'm in this from 7, so getting a buck a share when I was originally risking a buck a share, I felt like was a decent entry. Now, once I had scaled in, I was no longer really risking. Like this high was probably significant enough, and I really wanted to see 670s, 680s act heavy. So I locked a piece in, maybe about 1/10 or so, and then recycled those shares into the red to green pop with the idea that if this pushed up into 670s or so, I would have reacted to it and looked for it to fail. But given that we went straight down off the open today, we didn't get that reactive opportunity. So I was proactive into the covers, covered about 50% here. Started to recycle as these wicks started to come in and wasn't firming up over VWAP. So I re-added and got up to a full-size position. Basically put all these covers right back on. But started to scale out again as we were making new lows, but not convincingly, and it kept holding. I covered after this, made a new low, a higher low, and started to firm. So I covered, was down to about a quarter, rescaled again, thinking VWAP would act heavy. We got an immediate flush, covered again down to small, and then took the rest of that position off as it started to reclaim VWAP. Didn't want to give back a ton, holding a piece and letting it grind against me. So then I was waiting for hard crack lower highs. We got this push through high a day, which a lot of people are probably using as a stop, and it couldn't go green. We got this hard crack, reacted to it, lower high, looking for VWAP to stay heavy under 6, and then I could get a scale trade, but it just didn't come, so my stop at red to green went off and gave back a little bit, maybe about 10% or so of the realized, but didn't really get a scale trade onto that one. It just it wasn't failing. So the majority, like I think I was definitely up more down here, just because I gave back 10% of it on that trade. So if I didn't have the overnight, this first red day didn't really play out picture perfect. But like I had said on the watch list yesterday, this is kind of how these first red days have been playing out recently, where most of the range is on the overnight and the gap, whether they put out news or an offering or just gap into like outlier range. But I did throw the 4 EMA on this chart just to, that was the only trade today. I didn't take any other tickers. If I can figure out here how to pull those triangles off, it's just a bit clearer to see. Where the heck is it? Is it configure? There we go. If I turn off the triangles, you can see the 4 EMA here is this pink line. That's always my cover spot. I was looking for this gap fill. 550s was my target, and then like 490s was like if this really started to unwind. But 4 EMA was why I was covering into the 570s, and you can see it touched it and bounced right off of it. So that was the reason for those covers there off the opening flush. So yeah, that's pretty much the review there on IBRX. I don't really have a pattern in this. I would have just preferred this to fade off today and get like a backside bounce out of it, but it didn't. So next play in something like this would be a couple days of consolidation and a $8 breakout. If it can hold up near highs, it's obviously proven that it can go on multi-day runs. So if this can consolidate up here for another day or two before re-breaking out, then that would be a possible play. But I don't really have a short setup in my playbook at this point. Maybe if we put in sideways days and get like a flat base breakdown, something like that, that could be something else. But for now, no plan for it tomorrow. If it were to do anything tomorrow, it would have just been too much too fast off of this pull, so I wouldn't join that one to the long side. I did run through scans, so I've got a bit of a watch list here. SLV had some decent volatility there. Silver, everyone's been looking for this. The evaluation on this is absolutely ridiculous. It's at all-time highs. Silver has never been this extended from its moving averages. So it's definitely due for a pullback. The valuation up here doesn't make sense, but it hasn't been an easy trade. SNDK, let's talk about this one. So if this can run for another day or two, ideally tomorrow, like Thursday, this puts in a parabolic like $100 day, because we've had 411 to 450, we've had 450 to like 510. So we've got $40 day, $60 day, or $70 day, I guess, 60 or 70. So if we can put in like $100 day, and this can run from like 510 to 600 or something like that, and then going into Friday as well, that would be an A-grade opportunity that I would be looking to trade, similar to like MSTR back over here, where you get this sort of price action and you get the gap to gap, and then this would be like the Friday in my mind. So ideally it does something like this tomorrow on SNDK, or another case study could be SMCI over here, where this would be Friday, and we're kind of, this would be Tuesday, Wednesday, this would be tomorrow, and then I'd look for this on Friday would be what I would want on SNDK. So just kind of keep those in the back of your mind, and ideally this continues to speed up to the upside, and we can get a trade on that one towards the end of the week. ACRS, this one's not a super fast mover, but biotechs have been running and holding up pretty well. We've got this long-term resistance here right around 5, and we've got a push up into it, and then we've got an inside day. So with this resistance here basically at 520, and then this day puts in a big uptrending move and then consolidates sideways. So if we can get a breakout here through this 490s, I think that $5 level is within shooting range, that an entry through that breakout risking that day's low a day, I think could be a setup. Now I'm just a percent gainer, no plan on it, but no overhead resistance. See if this can extend and maybe get a trade out of it. NUAI, this one looked like it was left for dead on all these lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And it's right back, snaps back, and is right back up towards its daily highs. So same kind of thing where it's just gone a bit too fast, 2 to 7. Consolidation here around 3, but it's gone 100% since then. So if this can consolidate and tighten up, something like these days, but up here, and can stay within shooting distance, shooting range of that 750 daily breakout. If it can consolidate like 650 to 750 for a couple days, I'd play that breakout. It had a history of multi-day moves. And then TMC, I'm just noting this is in that metals basket, and all these like minerals and metal names have been on a tear. This one's obviously gone, but that 810 is kind of that bigger picture Kulamagi type swing, if you're into that sort of thing. Right through there, you can see all the top. Once it gets through there, sets its high, pulls back, consolidates, breaks its opening range, breaks its daily bar highs, and I think this area right here versus low a day risk is a decent risk reward and a decent trade idea. So I just wasn't on desk to take it, but so far gapping up. So if we get a flush off open down towards 810, I can probably take that, and just it'd be the same entry and just risking basically prior day lows if I take it tomorrow. But we will see. If these like silver and gold names start to pull back, then it probably hits those other stocks. What was that one? HMNY or what was it? HYMC? Yeah. This one here started pulling back, was a mining name. You had, what was the other one? I can't remember. There was a couple of them, but they started pulling back today. So that could hurt something like this if traders connect it to those pullbacks. So yeah, IBRX, keep it on watch just because it's still a big percent gainer. SNDK, ideally this sets up for Friday like those other case studies that I mentioned. ACRS, liquidity trap-esque, but we will see. NUAI needs some time. NOM, see if it extends. So you can see like there's a couple ideas there, but need them to set up. So we'll see tomorrow, see what the price action looks like. Like there was no red day. Gets gapped down, sold off, and right back to where it was. Craziness. But yeah, seems like the novelty of the active chat yesterday has worn off. So if nothing pops in the next 20 to 30 seconds, I will hop off. But I will give it a minute just to see if anyone wants to chit chat or touch on anything. So. Any tips to get into shorting? All of my plays are long. How to dabble and start practicing plays. I asked on Wine Wednesday. Would love to hear your thoughts. Um, yeah, I also started strictly long just because with market rules, when I had started, I was under 21, and I was not allowed a margin account under 21, and they wouldn't let me trade OTCs. So I was basically pigeonholed into listed longs when I first started as well. And I basically, to get into shorting, I took the approach of the same thing I did with the longs was how I got into shorts. So I wasn't I wasn't confident and convicted in taking plays unless I had a data backed strategy with listed breakouts and backside bounces. So what I had to do was start to track these overextended first red days and start to categorize them by market cap and find some similarities within that that would one, allow me to gauge extension when the setup would be quote unquote ready for the entry, get some criteria, and then also when to cover. So I like to use the 14-day RSI to gauge extension. I like to use the 5-day low percentage change to gauge extension. And then on the back side, as I'm looking for covers, I not only draw the levels that I note on the front side as I'm stalking this name for the short. So those are levels that are possible cover spots in the way down, but I go over all the time looking for that 4 EMA as the potential goal. So what I would do is the same thing that whatever process you did to get into the longs, just replicate that to the short side. Start finding some setups that look familiar to you, that make sense. Put some data behind it and be able to put some confidence into those trades. Would be how I would go about it again. Something like IBRX, something like BYND, these setups might make sense to you. Maybe the SMCI, maybe you like these higher price, but maybe you like those setups. Maybe you like these multi-day breakdown setups where you get this 470 entry on Microsoft, and maybe you're like a trend join trader. We went over DocU on the video yesterday as well. Putting in a couple inside days, tightening days, that could roll over again. But maybe you like joining trends, so maybe that makes sense to you. But that's how I would go about it. Hope that helps. GSBD prices public offering 400 million. I've got this one long term. It pays like a 15% dividend or so. That news didn't seem to affect it. Yeah, I've been holding this like forever. I buy it periodically, but I bought it like in here, like in the 2022, 2023. I've added some through here, so my position is down on the unrealized, but I've made more on the dividend because it pays like 15%, and I've held it for like 3 years. So I've made like 45% on it on the dividend cash payments, and it's not down 45%. So it's a profitable trade just because the dividends are so high. But right here, it still pays the same dividend, and it's at $9. That's crazy. I think I've got like a 13 average or something. But yeah, so with that being said, I went over my watch list there, so that's all I really had to touch on. The main thing was just I wanted to bookend the IBRX idea. So those other few names I will keep on watch. Nothing that's like A plus tomorrow, but possibly A plus on Friday if this SNDK can set up. So fingers crossed. So that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in and chit-chatting as always. And I will see some of you in IU and the rest